Hi, I'm Denise Smith, and I'm your host, and I'm so happy to be here today. If you have the deep determination to succeed, you will not fail. Continue to dare to dream with us today because we're talking about real estate updates. And the reason why we want to talk about real estate updates is because of the fact that a lot of people make up things in their own heart about real estate that's just not true. I believe there's a lot of myths in real estate, and I think there's a lot of things that are going on that I want to just dispel some of those things. So let's talk about real estate updates. The biggest update is that it's a hot market right now, and this is now the time to buy. And even if you are a seller or a buyer, now is the time to buy. The summertime is the best time of the year to buy. June is the #1 month to sell in. So if you're wondering right now if you should sell or buy, the answer is yes, you should either sell or buy, because I have a lot of people right now that are deciding that senior citizens, they're deciding that they just want to move and they want to make a decision. They don't want to stay in the same place they've been for the last 60 years. They want to move. So I have probably a good 10 families that have decided we just want to move. And then when I ask them, where are you going to move to? They say, I don't know. I just told you to help me to sell this house. And so I think that because of that, I think it's a great time to buy or sell. Now, if you are deciding right now if you want to sell, if I were you, I would go around and look at the houses in the neighborhood. I would go out on a fact-finding mission. I would go on Sundays and look at open houses. I would look in the newspapers for open houses and just see in the areas, the different areas that you live in, and maybe even the areas you might even want to buy in. Just take a look. Do it on your own. You don't need a real estate agent to do that. I'm a licensed real estate broker, but I don't believe that some things you, as a buyer or a seller, you could do on your own. All you're doing is getting information. So if you want to sell, sell. If you want to buy, then you want to get pre-qualified. You want to get yourself prepared. You see, because the thing is that it's like a pie in the sky that you're going to buy one day and that you can't wait to buy. Well, I'm an investor and I have acquired hundreds of properties, and it's a blessing to be able to acquire all those properties, but that is debt. And sometimes you don't want to have all that debt. So if you're a buyer, I would highly recommend that you not only look around to see the areas that you want to buy in, but also you want to interview real estate agents. As a seller too, you want a real estate agent that's going to work with you and your needs. You see, there's a lot of real estate agents, but if they're not working with you and your needs, then they may not be the one for you. Or if they're not sensitive to your needs. Now, some real estate agents and real estate brokers, and the difference between a broker and an agent is an agent has to work for a broker. A broker can open their own company and work for themselves. They do not have to go under a different agency if they don't want to. So as a seller, you want to interview real estate agents. As a buyer, you want to interview agents. But as a buyer, you're going to prepare yourself to get pre-qualified. So this is the updates right now. If you said to yourself that you cannot buy real estate, well then guess what? You're not going to be able to. But if you say to yourself, I will be able to buy one day, what do you have to do? You have to prepare yourself. Preparing yourself is to definitely make it your decision that, okay, I'm going to buy, but not only am I going to buy, but I'm going to prepare myself. You see, preparation is everything. If you choose that you do not want to prepare, then you're not going to buy. Preparation is everything. If you say to yourself, okay, the updates right now, real estate is at its all-time lowest interest rate. That's a great update. You see, because that means you could buy more house. If you're buying with a less interest rate, that means more house, okay? The update right now is that the economy might not be doing as great as we would like, but jobs are still plentiful. You still can get a job. I don't think that if you're trying to buy right now, now's not a good time to change careers. Now's not a good time to change jobs. And the reason is because when you go to purchase a piece of property, they're going to want to see that you have been on your job for at least 2 years. 2 years. And if they're not on their job for 2 years, then they're going to ask you, what did you do? And if you've changed jobs in several times, then you might want to wait until you've been on the same line of work for at least 2 years. You can't do that. The update is, another update for you is FHA. FHA is a wonderful way to buy. You can buy conventional, but FHA helps you to buy with low rate and low down payment. So if you're looking today to think about buying, and you're just thinking about buying, you're putting it on your heart to say, this is what I want to do. So the update is, not only is it a good time to sell or buy, right now it is a buyer's market. And why is it a buyer's market? Because we don't have that much inventory right now. There's a lot of real estate on the market right now, but the reality is when you don't have that many houses to sell, that actually helps the seller. That means that the seller can sell for probably a little bit higher because there's not that much inventory out there. So that really is the update for us. But for a buyer, you could have, you want to shop the loan, check the interest rates, and make sure that the lowest rate is possible. If you have credit challenges today, there's still ways to purchase real estate without getting a very high interest rate. See, if you have credit challenges, which bankruptcy, judgment, foreclosure, then FHA might be the best way to go, because right now they're asking us to wait 4 years to purchase before, if you file bankruptcy, or if you had a foreclosure, or if you have a collection or a judgment. It doesn't mean that you have to wait, because you still have to prepare yourself. You see, even though you're waiting, you gotta make that time that you're waiting productive, because that time means that you are doing what you have to do to get your credit in order. What do we have to do to get our credit in order? What we have to do is, first of all, know what's on your credit report. Your credit report, you should actually pull your credit report at least once a year. And that way, you'll know exactly what's on it. And some credit reporting agencies will allow you to pull your credit report for at least free for 1 year. And if you get denied on anything, they will allow you to get a copy of your credit report. That's a fact. If you decide that you want to buy and you feel like this is your time to buy, then get pre-qualified. Put the paperwork together to assist you to be able to get pre-qualified. So first, we talked about it, the update. Get a copy of your credit report. If you don't know what's on your credit report, then you're going to be at a loss. You do not want the bank to tell you what's on your credit report. You want to know already, before you even walk in that door, what is on your credit report. And once you get that copy of that credit report, that's like gold. That is like your term paper. Your term paper that shows you do you have any 30-day late, 60-day late, 90 days late? What do you have to do with that credit report? You need to call each creditor that has reported you negatively. And if you call each creditor that reported you negatively, you would want to write a letter to them and say, can you please prove to me that I owe you this debt? And if they can't prove it to you within 30 days, then you write them another letter saying, you did not prove to me that the credit debt belonged to me. Therefore, we're asking for you to remove it from the credit report. That's an update for me, because for a lot of people deny their own transactions. They believe they can't buy and they just deny their own transactions. Don't do that. Do not do that. Get a copy of your credit report and find out what's on it before you even go to the bank to get pre-qualified. The other update would be is that right now we have a lot of people that we know that want to sell in our families. And you know, sometimes when you know that they want to sell, now there's some people that tell me, I don't have any family members that own. And that's okay. You could be the first one that owns in your family. So if in the event, but if you do have family members that own and you know that they're getting up in age and you know, you might want to ask them, what are you going to do with your house? Because that might be the only way that you'll have an opportunity to own. There's so many creative ways, even with your family member, that you would be able to purchase real estate. So these are updated ideas, but they're ideas that we brought from the past, but they're still able to work today. Being at the lowest interest rate in 30 years, what does that mean to a buyer? That means that you can qualify for more house. So the lower the interest rate, the more house you can qualify for. Now we know that you may not want a house that has a very high mortgage payment, but if the interest rate is low, you have a better opportunity to get an affordable mortgage payment. If you're paying $1,000 in rent today, then you should be able to own. If you are trying to come up with ways to get your down payment because you might need a 3% or 5% down payment, there might be ways that you can do it. You can be very creative, very, very creative. Look around your house. Try to see things that you may not need. Let's see if you could sell those items in your house and decide on things, maybe even your clothes. There's consignment shops that will take your clothes and sell it for a percentage, and you will get a percentage and they will get a percentage. So think about ways to be able to increase your down payment. You see, because if this is really what you want to do, then you have to be very creative in your approach to being able to purchase real estate. There's so many great things going on in real estate right now. Not only can you purchase real estate, but there's so many loan programs that are available to help first-time buyers. So if you are a first-time buyer, investigate the loan programs that are available to you. Check out the cities that you live in. There's all kinds of loan programs with the city and government agencies that you live to just confirm it. Just see and find out. Check out the economic. They call it the economic department in some cases with the city. And if you're economic development with those cities, and once you call and you verify that, they will give you all kinds of programs. You might be a seller today that's trying to decide on whether or not you should buy a property or should you sell your property. You might want to, as I said in the beginning of the show, I think you need to look at your options. Look around at other houses that are being sold on your block and in your neighborhood and just see what they're selling for. And then you can come up with an idea, and then you find yourself you interview good real estate agents and brokers, and then once you get yourself a good agent or broker, then they will also help you to price your home if you decide to sell it. It is absolutely no obligation to ask questions to whether or not you should sell your home. But if today is the day that you're deciding that maybe you're thinking about it, go and do your homework. Check around, see what the other houses are selling for in your neighborhood, because there's so many possibilities. Also, you should also check with the city that you live in, because there's programs. You might say, I want to keep my home, I just don't want the upkeep any longer. Or you might say that you might need some rehab work done, some updates done. If you are a senior citizen, there might be programs that are available with your city, and just check it out. Call and just ask the question, are there any programs for senior citizens to help me fix my property up or improve my property? This is something that might help you. So then you might want to say, I'll keep my property. You may not want to sell your property. There's nobody, and this real estate broker will never, ever encourage you to sell your property unless you want to. I would be willing to help you sell it, but if you don't want to and you don't know where you're going to, then I'm going to actually help you to come up with ways to be able to say, how can you keep the property, or how can you improve the property? Or if truly you want to sell it, then we'll sell it for the highest price possible. And that's what the appraiser will look at. The appraiser wants to know, what has the houses sold for in the area? Generally, it's 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months, they usually would like to see houses sold in your area. That's how they appraise the property. That's how the banks will make sure. So why is this so important? It's important because you might say, I want to sell my house for $1 million. But the neighborhood says that your house is worth $500,000, but you want to sell it for $1 million. So maybe now's not a good time for you to sell it. Maybe this is the time you should keep it, and maybe you should downsize, go into a rental, or go and live with a family member and just rent your house out if you decide you want to keep your house. But there's so many creative ways that you can come up with to help you not only buy, but also to sell. And if you choose that, I have a list of people that I talk to, their rent is $400 a month. They don't ever want to buy. They're like, I'm so comfortable with this rent right now, I do not wish to buy. But the question you would have to ask yourself, do you have children? Do you have nieces and nephews? Are you wanting to not only prepare your life for now, but are you trying to prepare your life for the future as well? For those family members, those children, those other family members that you might be helping? You might want to ask yourself the question, because paying the rent is a blessing because of the fact that it's so low. But if you're not securing your financial future, then you're just like blowing it in the wind. And so you wonder, like later on, like, where did all my money go? So for example, you could say, I made $28,000 this year. But then you say, where did it go? And if you don't see where it went to, you might want to reevaluate securing your financial futures with real estate. We've had some great updates that I've seen over the years, but real estate changes every 6 months. So every 6 months, there's a different marketplace. That's why the real estate appraisers for the banks want to make sure that the appraisals and the closed escrows are within 3 to 6 months, because they say it changes every 3 to 6 months. The marketplace changes. It changes from a seller's market to a buyer's market to a seller's market back to a buyer's market again. So things change. So that's why when you're looking for real estate, and if you're really serious about buying real estate, you can call me. I'll be more than happy to help you. But it's also very important that you find somebody you wish to work with. Because somebody that's going to be honest with you. You know, real estate is commission only. So you got to make sure that whoever you're working with doesn't mind that if you don't want to buy in 3 months or 6 months, or maybe it might take you years. There's some people I've worked with for 7 years and they have not purchased yet. But I believe in them, and I believe that they're going to be able to purchase. So every first of the year, they go and they decide for their resolution that they're going to buy a house. And then I hear from them. And I'm always glad to hear from them, because I know that as long as it's still on their mind, they're going to be able to buy. And I always give them creative ways to purchase. So I think that if that is you today, and you're trying to decide, should you sell your property, should you buy a piece of property, or should you just hold and just wait for a moment? The people that are holding and waiting, we need you to be productive. We need you to be prepared. We need you to know that whatever you're going to do in your future, that you need to prepare for it. Because if you don't prepare for it, nothing's going to happen. You're going to be sitting in the same place next year at the same time saying, I think I want to sell, or I think I want to buy. You got to make a move, whatever it is. Staying stagnant, staying just doing nothing is not going to realize your dream. home, or it's not going to realize you a future to secure your financial futures. So do something that's going to prepare you, because if you don't, then we'll just sit, and that's not where you want to be. I know that's not where you want to be. There's so many people today that are asking me, should I buy? And I always tell them, yes, you should buy. But if you're not ready, then do not buy. You see, there's a whole lot of people today that bought in 2008 that ended up losing their homes. And why did they do that? What happened? It was those adjustable rate mortgages, those teaser rate mortgages that caused you to be able to start with a lower amount, and then in a couple of years, it starts to gradually go up. Well, when you got that loan, you always need to find out about the interest rate. And is it fixed or is it an adjustable? This is very important, because in 2008, there were 1 million foreclosures. And why? Because of the adjustable rate mortgages and also the negative amortization. Ask those two very important questions. What is the interest rate, and does it have negative amortization? Is it a fixed rate or is it an adjustable? These are very, very important questions, because you see, if it's negatively amortized, what that means is that you make a payment, and then a part of your payment goes to the principal and part of your payment goes to your interest. What does that mean to you? That means that you apply for a mortgage of $100,000, and when you go to pay it back, it's $200,000. You gotta be so careful. So when it's time, you don't want to just say, yes, this is what I want to do. You gotta do your homework, and you gotta work with someone that you trust, and you gotta make sure that that person knows what your needs are. You see, because your needs are so great. Your needs are so great that you need somebody that's going to understand you and what your needs consist of. Because if they don't, then it's not going to help you. And we need to help you. You see, real estate updates today is simply that now's a good time to buy, it's a good time to sell. But it's very important that you know what you're getting yourself into. Yes, I'm a real estate investor. I'm a broker. I own my own company, Rural Realtors and Loan Services. I'm an author of From Rags to Real Estate. When I acquired a whole lot of property, I decided that I came from a not nice neighborhood in San Francisco called Hunters Point Bayview, and I decided that I needed other people to know just how easy it is to purchase real estate. So if I'm giving you an idea today that you might not have ever thought about before, you might want to do your homework and prepare. Get a copy of your credit report and and know what's on there, so that when you get to the bank, you already know. And they don't tell you that, did you know that you had a collection or a judgment? No, you want to know in advance. This is truly important. More updates for you on real estate. There's been people that have been selling their homes, and what's happening is when they go to sell their homes, they do not realize that they have IRS liens. They do not realize that there's liens on the property that they didn't anticipate. So if you're trying to sell your home today, look and find out all the liens on your property. You might believe that there's no liens, but definitely check it out for yourself so you'll know. Because you might think you're selling your house and you're going to realize so much of a profit, and then from there you find out that you're not going to realize that profit at all because there's liens on the property that you didn't anticipate. So the update for you and the sellers are that check out the liens so you'll know exactly what's on your property. If you do not know what's on your property, it's going to be very difficult for you to know just how much money you're going to get out of that. And then if you decide you want to sell your property, and you need to know what they're going to sell for. So that's why I indicated to go and look in the neighborhood so you can see what they're selling for. And go to open houses, and they're in the newspaper, and they're online too, to see exactly what's available to you, to show you what it would sell for. That's very important. And that's just so that you'll have an idea. But then you want to check real estate agents and real estate brokers out, and make sure that you are fully aware of who you're going to work with. This is important because that is your team player to help you to realize the dream or the things that you would like to achieve. Over the years, we have made some very good investments. But, you know, there's always some times where you can make money, you lose money, you make money, you lose money. I don't want you to lose money very often. I want you to be able to pick a good real estate agent and a real estate broker and choose who you can work with so that they can help you make the best decisions. You see, I've been in finance since 1979. I've been in sales since 1990. I have seen people make a lot of mistakes. I've seen them make good mistakes. I've seen them make bad mistakes. I have made good mistakes. I've made bad mistakes. And so I want you to learn from my mistakes so that I can go ahead and help you to not, so you don't realize those mistakes. I once sold a property, and it wasn't my personal property. It was a property that was sold by a seller. And when they sold the property, the buyer thought, oh, that they got such a good deal. They didn't use a real estate agent. They did not use a bank. This buyer just turned over some money to the seller. The seller then took the money, and then they consummated the transaction and they sold the house. What happened was, years later, the IRS called and said, we are going to seize your property. Why are they going to seize the property? I'll tell you why. The reason was because when they sold the property, the seller did not tell them that they had a $2 million IRS lien that they had to pay. So those are the reasons why I say be very careful and work with a professional that can very much help you. And not only that, you want to work with a reputable title company and you want to work with a reputable bank to help you, because those are the things that can happen. There's some very serious things that can happen to you, and I do not want them to happen to you, because the number one thing, scariest thing to do is to buy a house, sell a house, have a child, get married, get a divorce, speak in front of public. Be real careful for those items, because you know, I know those are the scariest items, but the number one thing is the selling and buying of real estate. So you want to be careful. You really do. I know that people right now want to buy real estate and some people want to sell, but please make sure that you hire the right professional to help you, and make sure that you do your homework and be prepared, because if you don't, it could really cause you a lot of money, and it could cause you to lose a lot of money. That is not what I want you to do. I want you to buy real estate, enjoy real estate, and secure your financial futures. And I would like you to sell your real estate if that's what you want to do, maybe to buy something else. Maybe either you buy up or buy down. Buy a bigger house or buy a smaller house because the kids have gone. I like to end with this. If you have the deep determination to succeed, you will not fail. So continue to dare to dream with me and continue to want to buy real estate. I'll see you next time.